Welcome back to Morning Joe. Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his Conservative Party are celebrating a commanding win, securing a majority in the British Parliament and paving the way for the UK's exit from the European Union early next year. Overnight, Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn announced that he will be stepping down after the opposition not only failed to oust the ruling Conservatives, but also lost dependable seats in Parliament.
Let's go to Keir Simmons. He's outside 10 Downing right now. And Keir, the worst Labour drubbing since 87, possibly 83. And it was shocking watching the map last night across that red wall that Labour had built through the Midlands and the North. By the way, for 100 years, over the past century. We aren't talking about since Thatcher, but over the past 100 years, and you have Conservatives winning in the Midlands and the North, which, again, for people following British politics, just a shocking development. What a loss for Jeremy Corbyn and Labour.
Yeah, absolutely stunning, absolutely seismic, Joe. Let me just show you the front page of the Daily Mail here. The front page there, rejoice, quoting Margaret Thatcher, because, as you say, you have to go back to the 1980s for an example of this kind of a political earthquake. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, we're just waiting for him to come back to 10 Downing Street, having been to see the Queen, she to ask him to form a government, and what a government he is going to lead. You have to think about Thatcher, think about Blair to understand how much Boris Johnson will now be in charge of the political landscape here in Britain. And Joe, what you're talking about is right, because it is a completely changed landscape. What you've seen is working class British people in those former industrial areas of the Midlands and the north of England turning away from the Labour Party, from the left. And I heard what Katty Kay had to say earlier, all of the caveats that you have to be careful about lessons for the Democrats in the US. But I've got to say, watching this, many Democrats should be scared to death, because what you saw here was a populist leader taking those left, those people who have been committed to the left for decades, and bringing them on board with him, and now will be able to push through Brexit. And another interesting point on that, what you saw with the Labour Party, Joe, was a kind of young Twitter sphere believing that they had momentum, believing that they could push Boris Johnson out of office. And one left-wing commentator this morning saying, let us never forget that Twitter does not represent the country. So I think there are lessons for Democrats from what's happened here. And you've got to remember that back in 2016, Britain voted for Brexit, and then some months later, a populist leader named Donald Trump won the presidency of the United States.
Right. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.